and I could tell that he was strongly affected by what was going on, and this has been a challenging theme towards his beliefs, right? And so basically it has come to the point where he made a conclusion that he doesn't know anything. What he actually believed was to be something that is long-lasting and healthy, happy life, right? Actually turned out to be Hey guys, I just want to give a shout out to my fellow kings and queens out there. We are still striving for that unique balance and approach to this spectacular life. And the subject we're going to be focusing on today is love or acceptance. And so it's quite a sensitive topic depending on your background, depending on your beliefs, right? But I do want to make it as light as possible. But basically, I like to start out with a very fun fact of life, and that fact alone is we are all here to expand and grow and become more than what we are currently are, right? Become more than our obstacles, become more than our challenges, our shadows, right? And so I do firmly believe that knowledge and perception goes a long way in navigating this whole thing called life, right? And from that point of view, I would like to give a disclaimer here that whatever we speaking on this podcast is relatively my own opinion, right? It has nothing to do with truth or whatever truth may be to you. And so I would like you to actually ponder on the conversations that we have rather than jumping to conclusions, right? And so I had this conversation nomngani wami the other day, right? And Unjeluti, he told me that hlukene nomuntu wakhe. So they broke up with his girlfriend, and then he noticed something with what she said, right? With regards to the conversation they had before they broke up. And so what she said is, I actually don't feel comfortable. I don't feel like you accepted me or you accept me as I want you to, right? And so that alone drove him to ask a lot of questions about himself, really. Because when something like this happens to you, it moves you straight to your inner world, right? Like it pushes you to reflect on what you believe is actually the truth. So when this happens, that's when what you call transformation begins to take place, right? And so I witnessed my friend explaining this to me, and I could tell that he was strongly affected by what was going on, and this has been a challenging theme towards his beliefs, right? And so basically it has come to the point where he made a conclusion that he doesn't know anything. What he actually believed was to be something that is long-lasting and healthy, happy life, right? Actually turned out to be something other than that, something other than a positive result. And so throughout this conversation that we were having, I actually realized something very important. And I asked myself whether what we truly are experiencing is love, and whether do we know anything about it, right? And so I started to combine the two themes that are very much the same, very much similar, but different in not in so many ways, but different in the major theme that they represent. And so I asked my friend this question. I said, what do you prefer? Do you prefer acceptance, or do you prefer love? And so these are very much similar things, I get it, but they are different in the way they produce results. And so I understand that love itself means to adore, right? Means to appreciate, right? But the term love, as we experience it, does not come with only the positive representation of love, right? It also comes with a duality, or what you call hate. Because you cannot love something without having something that you hate about it. This, to me, has been a very life-altering conversation. It was very enlightening to me, because I got to learn something and experience something profoundly that I was not involved in, but something that I get to learn also, not only from myself, but also from other people's actions, right? And so what I've always noticed, or what I've always at the back of my mind was concerned about, was this understanding of what is really going on, what is really in front of me. Is it really what I see it to be, or there are other things that I cannot see beyond this that are happening, right? And so this major theme also with words is we turn to align words with truth. And that can be a misconception, because words are created, right? Words are not natural. Words are not the most natural language, because everything besides human beings does not speak language, right? It's all emotions. And so throughout this whole conversation I was having with my friend, I realized that what I also thought to be a solid fact about love is not really something I understand. And so I had this question, whether do I prefer to be loved, or do I prefer to be accepted? And this was not a very hard decision to make, because it's like instinctively I knew that acceptance was the option. It was a decision that would bring much more security, right? It would bring much more peace inside me, is to know that I am accepted. But to know that I am loved is quite different, because you have to ask yourself, what is being loved about me, right? And there are many different things that people could love about you, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they love everything about you, right? You cannot love everything about someone or about something. There are going to be some things that you would rather not get involved with if it was possible. And so when you look at what is happening beyond this structure of words or what we call love, you can have a glimpse of what it's like to live with or to have acceptance within your heart, right? You would navigate life differently. You wouldn't have a problem facing challenges, and you wouldn't always, it's something that you wouldn't always appreciate, is challenges, right? But you would learn to accept that life does come with challenges. You have learned to accept that the person that you're attracted or you find appealing does have other properties that you wouldn't like about them, right? You would have to accept first. And this is a very important part in this conversation, is acceptance or love. If you were to give security between the two, obviously I think in my term it would be acceptance, because everybody has a shadow side, right? Everybody has something that they haven't completely accepted about themselves, right? No one is completely in love with themselves. And to be completely in love with yourself is acceptance itself. Because love without acceptance, if you have read the term in the Bible where God says, to get to me, you shall have to go through my son. And this fits perfectly with what we are describing between love and acceptance. I could see the Son, the Holy Son, being the acceptance part of life, right? Being the one that has seen it all and has come to appreciate both the light and the dark aspect of life, to appreciate both the negative and the positive. But you cannot do this without coming in terms of understanding what you're dealing with. So you cannot accept something that you don't understand. You can love something that you don't understand, but you cannot accept something you don't understand. And in terms of what I'm speaking on when I say love, I'm speaking on general terms, not the term that I have come to actually describe it as, acceptance. And so, to go through my son, you shall have to, to get to me, you shall have to go through my son, is the very term of acceptance in itself. You shall not attain true love, the real meaning of love, without having to accept or go through acceptance. And that is not a very easy thing to do, to accept, especially when you are accepting something that you are not really in alignment with, right? You don't really align with the idea of yourself being maybe too tall or too short, or maybe too extroverted or introverted. maybe you think too much. Maybe you have this kind of problem. Maybe you're impulsive. But you cannot change or do anything if you haven't understood and accepted the very fact that you have that within yourself. You cannot transcend towards what true love may be without having to accept part of yourself that you don't really appreciate, right? Because to love yourself is to love God, right? That's the way I believe it was created to be. To accept what God has created. Because God has accepted the devil, right? That's why the devil continues to exist. And so God has done that acceptance. But have you done that acceptance? God had accepted the negative side and the positive side. He created everything, if I'm speaking on general terms of Christianity and religion.